Recall of Shea Charles has sent shockwaves through the Sheffield Wednesday fan base. The midfielder out of nowhere last night at a fans forum held by owner Dejphon Chansiri has been recalled apparently by Southampton, and this was told by the owner last night to a fan forum halfway through. But this doesn't even touch on the problems and the deeper issues at Sheffield Wednesday, a lot highlighted in the fan forum last night, but we're going to be getting into it today. The key points of this video we're going to be discussing is Shea Charles and the impact that might have on the Sheffield Wednesday squad, Chansiri's baffling comments at the fan forum, Danny Röhl's performance and his challenges as a manager, and of course what this means for Sheffield Wednesday's future. So the Shea Charles bombshell last night and what happened. Well, just to give context to Shea Charles, been at Sheffield Wednesday this season. He's been probably their top 3 player. Some Wednesday fans would argue their best player. Shea Charles's match ratings have been all extremely high. He's got 4 assists, and it seems like at last in his career, obviously Southampton, it's not quite worked for him right yet after his loan move from Manchester City. He's only a young lad, but this loan at Sheffield Wednesday, the Wednesday fans have shown him love. He's been really decent. He's got 5 goal contributions, and it felt like he was really getting into his stride. At the forum last night, Chansiri stepped out at midnight and then came back to tell the Sheffield Wednesday fans at the fan forum that Shea Charles had been recalled right before the loan deadline on the 15th of January. Now, the slight positivity for Sheffield Wednesday fans is the fact that Shea Charles is within a 7-day rule right now, so he will be able to play against Leeds United, he will be able to play against Bristol City. But beyond that, we know with the Shea Charles quality level that this is going to leave a massive hole in the Wednesday squad, and there's even more to pile in on why this is so negative for the Owls. However, reports do suggest that Southampton may allow Sheffield Wednesday to come and get Charles again, but they may have to pay a significant loan fee. However, details are a little bit vague at the minute. Now, let's just get into the Chansiri fan forum, everybody. We're going to try break this down. Chansiri did confirm that Southampton had come in for Danny Röhl in December, which adds a sort of layer of complicated potential narrative to the Shea Charles deal with Southampton and Sheffield Wednesday, of course. But I thought throughout he was kind of making indirect and slightly dismissive comments about Danny Röhl, who's done such a fantastic job at the Owls. He even admitted that they're not spoken about transfers since December. It's the 15th of January. Sheffield Wednesday, in my opinion, are in dire need of some real quality ridden within that squad, really. 10th in the division at the minute. They're doing pretty well at the minute with that squad calibre and quality, in my opinion. Wednesday need reinforcements. They get reinforcements, and you never know what can happen in this division. It's absolutely mental. Chansiri also went on to talk about the fans, which he's done this before, and I just think you've got to be so sensitive when you're talking about your own fan base. Sheffield Wednesday, massive club, massive fan base, extremely loyal. With some of the crap times they've been through very recently, you've got to be very careful when you're talking about fan bases. Instances have happened at Newcastle and Leeds United, which are so evident as to why you've really got to keep the fans on side. But even when you're looking at Ashley and even when you're looking at Chelino at Leeds, Dejphon Chansiri seems to talk about the Sheffield Wednesday fans a hell of a lot more than those other 2 owners did. He stated that unhappy fans shouldn't come to games. I can't stand this rhetoric, and I'm trying to provide a bit of balance in my commentary here. Unhappy fans can do whatever they want. They can come to games, right? Fans are paying their hard-earned money to come to football matches. If they're unhappy, they can voice their opinions. Sheffield Wednesday price tickets aren't exactly cheap. And from my understanding, not so long ago, he was asking Sheffield Wednesday fans to pay a set amount of money to keep the club afloat and to keep him going. I mean, it just alienates so many people. It causes a divide within the club. There's maybe some people who still support Chansiri, some people who heavily want him out now, and I think it's definitely weighed toward that majority, but it alienates. It makes staff feel uncomfortable. It'll make Danny Röhl feel uncomfortable. He'll know the fan connection that Wednesday have with him. They all absolutely love him. And I just think within the fan base, it then causes a real toxicity between the owner and the fan base. I just can't understand, as an owner, you must be so severely out of touch to not understand how this would happen. And I just feel Chansiri, he's done it before and he's doing it again right now. When Wednesday sitting 10th, 1 loss in 6, it makes no sense to me whatsoever. Chansiri was saying things like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and throughout the entire fan forum, he's deflecting. It went on for 3.5 hours, this, with Chansiri. It might have even gone on for 4, and there's people genuinely there for that full period, but a lot of people started to walk out, apparently, as well, because they're just absolutely sick of what they were hearing. A lot of Sheffield Wednesday fans have accused Dejphon Chansiri of being a liar. There's no accountability whenever he's talking about matters going on at Sheffield Wednesday. Throughout, when I was reading through the transcript as well, there was definitely a notion of deflecting and putting it onto others and people who are putting him as an owner into a really good position. You look at what Danny Röhl's doing right now. If Sheffield Wednesday are 10th, there's not going to be a lot of talk on Dejphon Chansiri. We know he needs to sell, but there's not going to be a lot of noise as there would be if there was chaos on the pitch and Sheffield Wednesday were in 24th position, which with the ownership structure and with the lack of communication, Sheffield Wednesday on a reality level should be there or thereabouts, really. He claimed as well that there was no transfer targets. Danny Röhl hasn't come to Dejphon Chansiri about any transfer targets. How is there not a structure at Sheffield Wednesday where the owner and the recruitment team and the manager are in conversations about January targets, especially where Sheffield Wednesday are in the window? But look, you don't want Sheffield Wednesday to drop either. You know, that needs to be a squad that's consolidated with quality, consolidated with people with a fantastic mentality, which Shea Charles evidently has, and he's built up a real connection with the fans, as has Danny Röhl and others in that Wednesday side. For me right now, they're overperforming and they're really putting it in for the Owls. That needs to be replicated at the top. There needs to be some hierarchy. There needs to be some sort of chain of command of which you know that Sheffield Wednesday are going to be going in for set personnel. There needs to be a shortlist. I just can't understand how this lack of organisation and structure has been able to get this far. It's not the Wednesday fans' fault. They can't do anything about it, but it is the ownership. How on earth are you letting it get to this point? You know, where you're coming out and admitting halfway through January that you have no targets. The manager hasn't come to you. Well, why are you not in conversation? You're the head of the ship. You're the head of the chain right now. You're the captain of this ship. Why are you not sorting out what's happening in January? Top down, trickle down effect. These are real things in football. I think Danny Röhl has done such a good job. He's maximised resources. He's stabilised Sheffield Wednesday right now. For me, he's overperforming with the squad that they've got. I don't think the squad's that great. And to be 10th in the division on 37 points, I think that's a really, really good feat for him. They go to Leeds United this week and they'll be looking to genuinely win that game. They're not going to probably just put 10 men behind the ball. They're looking to transition and hurt Leeds United. I think Sheffield Wednesday are doing really, really well right now. And I think maximising resources just shows what an excellent manager Danny Röhl is. Why would Southampton be coming in for him if he was a poor manager? They simply wouldn't. Danny Röhl is showing right now that with a little bit more support, he is capable of probably a lot more. And if he wasn't, you wouldn't get current Premier League clubs looking at him right now. Röhl expressed earlier on as well that Charles was really happy. Shea Charles was really happy at Sheffield Wednesday. Obviously, the fans have built a connection with him as well. They really love his style of play, love the quality, the Rolls-Royce effect that he brings into that midfield alongside the likes of Barry Bannon. And what a player to learn off as well, by the way, the experience that Bannon can bring, not only at Sheffield Wednesday, but from Premier League level, that trickle-down effect again to Shea Charles. It was a really good balance between the two. And this is undoubtedly going to put in Danny Röhl's head, like, I'm working so hard here, I'm doing such a good job, and I've lost one of my key players. Why? And the fan reactions, and this is what something I can, you can relate to, isn't it? Being any football fan, and it's frustrating even looking at it from an outset because you do compare it to Ashley and Cellino and other owners who just haven't got a clue on how to run a football club and interact with the fans. It's catastrophic. Just when you think things are improving, poor leadership derails it, and that happens in any business, doesn't it, guys? It happens in any business. If from top down it's poor, if from top down there's more attention at the guy, you want the owner to be completely invisible in football. A lot of the top clubs in football, Brighton, Brentford, Bournemouth, the owners are invisible. They're completely invisible. Nobody talks about them. There might be a piece in like the Telegraph or the Guardian every now and again on their successes, but you don't hear from them. And that's how I think top ownership models run. You do not hear from the owner, but they put everything in place for you to then praise the owner. But for me, this fan forum in particular was absolutely damning. Instead of providing clarity, Chansiri seemed to do what he does best and further disconnected himself from the fan base. His dismissive attitude towards protests and lack of transparency, for me, only deepened frustrations, and I can completely understand that. Now, I think it really brings me back to other comparisons of other ownership structures. You look at Mike Ashley at Newcastle and the continuation of the dismissal of the fan base and the alienation that provided was absolutely chaotic. The Newcastle fans wanted him out. It was more about Mike Ashley consistently. And this is the thing with Dejphon Chansiri. When it's been about the performances of the side, 1 loss in 6, Danny Röhl, he's brought it all back around, and the attention now is right back on Dejphon Chansiri. This is something Ashley used to do consistently. Similarly to Leeds with Massimo Cellino. Now, Cellino used to have about 48 managers in 48 days. However, these erratic decisions and toxic relationships with managers just hindered progress for years and years with Leeds United. And some of these examples parallel Chansiri at Sheffield Wednesday. Now, it's not a good picture for Sheffield Wednesday. The Shea Charles recall, albeit they might be able to get him back, but it might cost the loan fee now after this just mess which has happened last night at the fan forum. I mean, just even that communication at a fan forum to come out and say that, I just find mental. The Danny Röhl picture at this moment in time, how will he be feeling? That's not what a lot of people will be focusing on. The owner, such dismissive and passive aggressive comments about Danny Röhl. I wonder, penny for his thoughts right now. Forum comments, the Sheffield Wednesday discontent with everything that's going on right now. It really paints a concerning picture for Wednesday's future. And the club's passionate and dedicated fan base, for me, which Wednesday have always been, you know, massive fan base, huge history, it deserves a lot better. But what do you guys think? Can Sheffield Wednesday recover from this? Or is it time for a complete overhaul? And look, I think Wednesday fans have been saying this for a while now. But share your thoughts in the comment section below. Wednesday fans, I want to hear from you. Championship fans, I want to hear from you as well. Guys, make sure if you've enjoyed this, you like, comment and subscribe. And I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.